What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the lesson on beliefs. So in this lesson, we're going to be breaking down limiting beliefs. We're going to be breaking down one of the main reasons so many traders fail to become consistent, right? This has nothing to do with strategy, right? This has nothing to do with risk reward. This has no analysis and nothing to do with any of that. This lesson dives deep into your brain, right? Your limitations, right? The fears, the anxieties, the self-doubts that keep you from becoming successful. Right? So we're going to break right into it. And before we get started, I just want to read this quote. Positive change must start with not only the possibility of success, but the certainty of it, right? Because it is so important. I don't care if you trade, I don't care what it is your profession is. If you can't believe truly, certainly in your heart, in your mind, right? In your beliefs, in your thoughts, everything, you will never become successful. Right? It's like this story I heard of a baby elephant. I don't know if you've ever been to a circus, right? But if you have, you'll see an elephant that's chained into a little metal spike that's in the floor, right? Now, being an elephant weighs over 4,000 pounds, right? It's nothing to him to rip the stake out of the ground for freedom, right? But what they do is train them. And as an elephant's a child, right? A baby elephant, they hammer the spike into the ground, right? And the baby elephant cannot pull the spike out of the ground, right? And he accepts his fate and never tries again, right? This is a perfect example of a limiting belief, right? A limitation that is only in your mind, right? So we're going to be breaking down if you want to become successful, right? And you truly want to become successful, especially in this game, you need to understand and develop the certainty within yourself in your abilities to identify your edge, right? Shake those fears off, those doubts, all that, because all that does is lead you to self-sabotaging behaviors that crushes your success as a trader, right? So some topics we're going to be breaking into is limiting beliefs, right? Fear and anxiety, expectations, right? The triple C's, and faith in uncertainty, right? Because we're traders. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's impossible. It's not there yet. But the important thing is we don't need to know what happens, right? We've broke this down in other lessons, but this is a game of probabilities. This is a probabilistic mentality that you need to acquire to be able to get in and out of the market, right? And have faith in uncertainty, right? And another really good quote is fear was at the door, faith knocked, fear opened the door, no one was there, right? So basically what that means is where there's fear, there's no faith. And where there's faith, there's no fear, right? So we're going to be breaking down into what fear does to a trader, right? How it crushes him, how it keeps him away from becoming affluent, right? How it keeps him away from opulence, from success, right? And from achieving his dream, right? So limiting beliefs. A limiting belief is a thought or state of mind that you think is the absolute truth and stops you from doing certain things. These beliefs lead to self-sabotaging behaviors that are a direct result about how you feel about yourself and what you truly believe you deserve subconsciously, right? This causes your fear to become reality, right? I'm guilty of it, and I know every trader out there is, that if you really believe something, right, it ends up happening, right? If you are driving home and you've had a couple drinks and you see the cop behind you, right, you start to drive reckless or make a mistake. What you're doing is subconsciously creating what you fear the most, right? I know that's kind of a controversial example, but it's a perfect example, right? What you fear and what you believe in your mind, you subconsciously put out into the world and receive it, right? So as a trader that needs to be able to get in and out of the market with consistency, something he cannot control, if you are jumping into trades with fear or anxiety, you cannot access the knowledge and all of that super valuable knowledge that's in your brain, right? You can't act on it properly, right? So this crushes the trader's success. Until the trader can get over his limiting beliefs about himself, his abilities, he will never truly reach his full potential for consistency. These beliefs cause us to create inconsistent, self-sabotaging trading errors, right? And the three worst ones right there: fear, doubt, and anxiety. These will crush you, right? So trading errors cause from limiting beliefs, right? So trading errors cause from fear, anxiety, and self-doubt. Impulsive entries and exits, right? This means nothing's predefined, or you may have a predefined exit, right? Or area on a chart you're looking to get into. But maybe you start feeling frightful that you're missing out on a bigger move. So you just jump in, right? Or you're in a winning trade, right? And you are up, let's just say 10%, 20%, you're up a couple $100, or it could be a couple thousand, and you get out of the trade, right? You don't stick to your process whatsoever, right? You're P&L trading. And, this is kind of a tough subject to talk about because we are here to make money, right? But if you are getting in and out of your trades based on how much money you've made, you're not following your process. If you're not following your process, you're trading with fear, right? Trading with fear will limit you. It'll limit your profits, right? And it'll cause you to stay in losing trades much longer, right? Number two, large losses, right? So this is one every trader deals with. Any trader that says he doesn't is lying, right? So large losses, right? So it's okay to have a loss as a trader if you're following your strategy, if you're following your process, right? That's okay. It's going to happen. This is not a 100% gain, right? Remember, probabilities, right? But if your losing trades are much larger, right, than your average winner, you're doing something wrong. Right? Mark Douglas said it perfect. They call this eating like a bird and shitting like an elephant. It's not okay. This is one of the main reasons so many traders fail. Number three, exiting winning positions early. Right? So we just talked about that. Say you're in a winning position. You're up around 30%, right? And, say you're trading 10 contracts on the S&P 500, and we'll just say you're up around $300, right? $300 a day, that's around $100,000 a year. That sounds very good. But if you're getting out because you're afraid to give that money back, you are now acting on fear, right? And remember, if you're acting on fear, that means faith is not present. If faith is not present and fear is, once again, you cannot access, right, the subconscious knowledge that you have worked so hard to acquire going through this course, running through the charts, right? We work very hard as traders. Actually, we obsess over it. I know I did for years. I obsessed over analysis. I obsessed over the charts. And it caused me to get very good at price and volume and technical analysis, fundamental analysis, right? Reading the tape, all that stuff. But until I got over my limiting beliefs about myself, about the market, about success, I could not gain consistency, right? And it was just this vicious cycle of diving back in the charts. And what I'm doing here is thinking I have control. In reality, I don't believe I could do it. I don't have the faith I could do it. So anytime I got a little afraid, I wasn't brave enough, right? I didn't have the faith. I didn't have the trust to be able to trust my knowledge, right? To be able to trust my analysis, right? And this leads to, being up a couple $100, and you just want to, pocket that, and you get out of your trade and you limit yourself, right? I used to, make $300-400. I know every trader has done it. And then my options would go to, up 100% and hit my target almost every single time, right? So it's very important to dive deep into that. Number four, trading without a predefined stop loss, right? Now, once again, Mark Douglas breaks this down perfect. So the way Mark Douglas explains it is, if I'm looking to get into a trade, the average trader doesn't want to predefine a stop loss because that's admitting that he could be wrong about his analysis, right? About his mentality, about his expectations. So if he might be wrong about his analysis, right, that means, why is he even taking the trade, right? So it's kind of a predicament where you have to do your best and analyze the market, right? Trust and build confidence and conviction in yourself, yet at the same time be humble enough to go, hey, I cannot control the market and anything can happen, right? This is why we dive deep into expectations, right? You need to understand what we're up against, and we cannot control every single trade. So I don't care how good the trader is. I don't care how good you think you are at technical analysis, price and volume, does not matter, right? A trade can and will go against you. And if you're not prepared for it, once again, you're trading with fear of being wrong, fear of damaging your ego, right? It's a different type of fear, and it will crush you. Once again, comes from a limiting belief. And this is what we need to change. So Next, trading clearly against market conditions, right? So once again, we have all dived deep and extensively into understanding how to identify market conditions and adapt to them. So it's really important, right? Well, let's just, break it down. If we know, right, say you enter a long position and the market's clearly in a downtrend, right? It's making lower lows, it's making lower highs, right? It's just continually going down. It's very simple to understand, and it's continuously breaking support and just breaking demand. Buyers are not there, but you're trying to catch the reversal. And once again, you enter the trade and it goes against you. And now you don't want to get out of the trade because you don't want to admit that you're wrong. So you double down, and now you're doubling down against market conditions, right? Once again, you're not thinking clearly because you're afraid of being wrong, right? That fear will crush your consistency. It will crush your dreams. It will crush your bank account. Trust me, I did this for years, ladies and gentlemen, years I did this. And then next, not trusting your market analysis. So this is another one we're going to break into. This ties in with random winning and losing. So basically, in a nutshell, a lot of traders are afraid to take accountability, right? They don't want to own their analysis because that means if it doesn't go correctly, that means they're wrong. Once again, we don't like being wrong. Most human beings associate being wrong in shame, right? Sometimes it's the way we're brought up. Our parents get upset at us when we're wrong, and you feel shameful. You feel less than. So this really hurts you as a trader because traders need to be okay with being wrong. You need to be able to put on a losing trade, right? That crushes you for whatever, let's just say 15%, like it's nothing. That needs to roll off you as long as you're following your process. If you are following your process, right, it does not matter. I took a losing trade today. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. You know why? Because I had my stop in. I've followed my process. And then the next trade, I followed the same process, had the same predefined stop, and made all my money back plus more, right? So this is the game we are in, right? We need to develop faith in ourselves and in uncertainty to become successful, right? Okay, so limiting beliefs. The only limitations, fear, anxiety, that exist are in our minds, causing us to perceive the market in a threatening manner, leading us away from the knowledge we possess and the ability to properly define our edge and act on it, right? That is so important. Let's just dive into that. The only limitations, right? So the market does not generate any limitations, right? They generate candlesticks, price action, opportunity. That's all the market generates. Where the limitations come from is in your mind, right? So when you're in a losing trade, and or let's just go, when you're in a winning trade and you want to get out to lock in that bag, right? Lock in the money, and you're afraid of giving any back, you're generating that in your mind. That's not coming from price action, right? That's not coming from the news, nothing. The market only generates opportunity. So when we're afraid, right, we perceive the market in a threatening manner. So instead of perceiving the market and go, ooh, that's a double bottom in demand, I'm going to hop on that, right? That's one of my favorite setups. I've been trading that setup for years. I have confidence, control, conviction in that setup. Instead of looking at the market that way, you're going, oh man, that's a double bottom in demand, but what if sellers come in? If sellers come in, I'm going to get stomped out. I'm going to lose money. I'm going to be wrong, and I'm afraid of being wrong. I don't want to be wrong, right? That's shameful, right? That all comes from your mind, right? So you need to be able to develop a whole new mindset. And this all comes down to your beliefs about yourself, the market, and if you truly deserve success, right? So we cannot properly act on our knowledge that defines our edge if we are in a state of frightfulness and anxiousness. Remember, if fear is there, faith isn't. If faith is there, fear isn't. There's no in between, right? You're either hot, you're either cold. You're either rich, you're either poor, right? So we cannot properly act on the information that we've worked so hard to gather if we're afraid, right? Super important. So in order to achieve this success consciousness, right? I know it sounds easy. Of course I don't want to be afraid, Josh. Of course I don't want fear or anxiety, but how do you get over it? So in order to achieve this consciousness, you must retrain your brain to believe not only in the possibility of success, but the certainty of it, right? We do this by retraining our brains to perceive the market information completely different in a non-threatening manner. But how? Changing beliefs and expectations. You must develop a probabilistic mentality, right? So you must retrain your brain to approach every single trade you take in a manner of probabilities. We do this through repetition and visualization. We're going to come back to that. This means instead of focusing and marrying the outcome of every single one trade, you must develop a long-term approach and marry the outcome of the next 100 trades, right? To do this successfully, you must develop certain criteria that makes up your edge, hold yourself supremely accountable in the ability to act on this criteria with reliability. So what it comes down to is when you're about to put on a trade, right? It meets all your criteria. You know your edge. We just broke down tons of trading strategies. And hopefully, if you've taken this course properly, your brain's starting to understand that the market's an auction, right? There's buyers, there's sellers, there's supply, there's demand, there's volume, right? There's strategies, there's chart patterns, right? There's all these things that make up our edge in our tool bag that we use each and every single day. Now, to do this successfully, you must hold yourself supremely accountable. I know we broke this down in trader accountability, but you must be able to put on a trade that follows your process to a T. If you cannot make any progress, right? I know we broke this down in trading metrics, but once again, if you do not log your trade and then figure out if you can even have the ability to follow your process, you're never going to get better. But once you start to hold yourself accountable, right? Once you take that randomness out of the market, that mysterious relationship that every typical trader wants, because if he's wrong, he could blame the market, right? Once you take that out and go, hey, I was wrong because X, right? And the only way you're wrong in this game is if you do not follow your plan, right? You must identify a setup, identify a plan, and trade it. If you're wrong, so what? Figure out, hey, I went wrong here, I didn't follow this, or price just went against me, that's fine. Right? But until you can do that, you're not going to become successful. Now, how do we retrain our brain to do this, right? Well, what you must do is trade. Well, it's repetition and visualization. So everybody on the Discord knows I log every single setup I see that meets my criteria. And a lot of traders ask me, well, that seems kind of asinine and mundane. Like, why do you do that? Well, in reality, I do it because I need to repeatedly see what is a good setup, right? Oh, look at that end of day rejection. Perfect. Bam, log it, right? This is the best entry. This is the best exit. Oh, that double top drop. Bam, there's another one, right? So what I'm doing is repeating in my brain, subconsciously identifying what a good setup looks like, right? What this does is build confidence, conviction in your strategy. Once you truly believe, if you truly believe that your strategy works, what are you so worried about a losing trade for? Or what are you so worried about getting out of a trade so fast for, right? If I know my strategy works to a T, right, and I trade in a probabilistic manner, there's absolutely no reason to worry about, oh, I'm going to take this $300 and keep it, right? No, I'm trading my process. I don't even look at my P&L. It doesn't even matter to me anymore. I don't even look at my drawdowns. If I'm down 10%, but I'm still following my process, I'm trading correctly. You need to retrain your brain to look at this differently, right? You need to stop worrying about the money, right? Pull the money out of the equation. And I know that's hard to say. A lot of traders going, Josh, I'm trying to feed my kids. I'm trying to build my dream. I understand that. But if you really want to be successful in this game, you will learn to trade in probabilities. You need to look at this as a probabilistic manner. This one trade does not matter. And a lot of options traders get caught up, especially with small accounts. And I'll tell you why right now. If you only have, let's just say you have $1,000 in your account, which no doubt, and you want to put on a trade that's 10 contracts deep, right? And we'll just say every contract's $100. So that's one trade a day with 10 contracts. Now you need that trade to go right. So as long as you are trading your whole account in one trade, now look how married you are to that trade. You can't just take a 10% loss because now you can't trade for the rest of the day. And if you're anything like me, that's going to drive you crazy, right? I went through this, once again, for years, consistently losing money because I would have $1,000 in my account, try to make a quick come up, right? Trade would go against me. Now I'm holding it, hoping it comes back. Once again, fear present, not faith. Once again, not following my process, right? This is what I'm talking about when you're trading not in a probabilistic manner. You are married to every single trade. You need that trade to work, right? And it may be for money, it may be for ego. I don't care what it is. But if you are looking at every single trade you take and you need it to work, right? And you're putting so much into it, right? You're not trading with the proper mentality. You're trading off fear. And remember, when you're trading off fear, your knowledge is not present, right? And now you're probably going, why did I make that trade? Why did I do that? That makes no sense. I know better. Well, in reality, you're self-sabotaging yourself because you're trading off fear, right? And this may be because you don't think you're worth success, right? You may not think you properly deserve it. We're going to break that down in a little bit. So instead of trading married to one trade, you need to focus on the outcome of the next 100 trades, right? You need to go, hey, I'm in a losing trade, so what? Bam, 10% done. My stop loss is already in there. I don't even care. You know why? Because I know if I keep following my process, I keep following my edge, I'm good, right? And that is exactly how you become a consistently profitable trader. Once again, until you could shake off that fear and anxiety, right? That comes from the wrong expectations, right? Because remember, expectations, I only can make one trade. I'm expecting myself to make money every day. I need this trade to go my way. Now I'm failing. See what I mean? So this is what makes the candlesticks be perceived in a threatening manner. Because once again, if I'm trading one trade a day, I need this to work. I need to feed my kids. I need to pay my rent, right? So now I'm not seeing the information properly, right? Instead, I'm looking for, buyers in demand, I'm in. Ooh, sellers coming strong, right? I wasn't patient enough, right? I entered on that candle way too quick. Didn't wait for it to close, right? And I'm going for the biggest trade every day, right? Now I need it to work. Now I'm down 30%. I don't want to take that loss because that means I'm done for the day on a loss, and I don't want to feel shameful, right? I don't want to feel bad. I know I'm good at my analysis. Let me look a little deeper. See, that is where you're failing. This is why you need to change the way you look at this. Okay, so through extensive journaling and trader accountability and self-awareness, you will begin to slowly change your expectations and true beliefs about yourself and what you truly deserve. We achieve that success consciousness through building the 3 C's: confidence, control, conviction. You guys hear me say this constantly. These 3 C's changed my life, right? Everything that we're talking about today, I used to go through every single day for many years straight until I started logging my trades, taking full accountability of me following my process and taking in that self-awareness, right? I never was able to identify what I was doing wrong. And so through years of journaling, through years of self-awareness, self-analysis, right? Years of trader accountability, I finally built the beliefs, right? Confidence, control, conviction, the expectations, right? And what I truly thought I deserved of myself, right? Now I know what I'm worth. I know what my knowledge is worth. I know what my edge is worth. I see it in my bank account. I see it in my trading account. I see others learn it. It's amazing, right? But it's crazy until I took the time to log the trade, dive deep into myself, right? Because anyone could put on a winning trade, but if you're not following that process, why? Why are you so afraid to follow rules? Did you have it hard as a kid? Did you have the type of parents, if you didn't follow rules, you got in trouble, right? Probably. Most people did, right? So what makes it, why do you not like structure? Dive into that. Figure out why your brain's wired the way it is, and then rewire it. You don't have to stay that way. As a matter of fact, you can't stay that way. If you stay that way, you will not become a consistently profitable trader. You will not achieve your dream, right? So you must change. If you change, you will become a consistently profitable trader. You will achieve your dream. You will make it. I promise you. It's all about changing your beliefs and how you perceive the market. Because if your beliefs and expectations are correct, right, you will perceive market information properly. You'll be able to act on your knowledge. You will be able to identify great setups, let bad trades go, right? What does that sound like? A consistently profitable trader. Once again, triple C's. Confidence, faith in your ability to identify a process, trust the process, and the process's ability to make you wealthy, right? So you need the confidence to be able to go, hey, I know my process makes money, right? I know I can follow my process. And I know when I follow my process, I make money, right? And you need the control, right? The ability to control your mind and to develop a trade plan and to see it through regardless of your current perception of market information. So basically, in a nutshell, once again, you're in a winning trade and you see a red candle. Oof. Just pulled back about 50 cents. Your $500 position just dropped down to 100. You're hurting, right? But in reality, you need to be able to control yourself and go, hey, I know I'm still in this trade. I have not hit my stop loss, right? It's still breaking, retesting to the upside, right? Buyers are coming in. I'm not worried, right? I'm brave, right? I have faith, right? In myself, in the market, in success, in my analysis, in my confidence, in my conviction. I've seen this trade 1,000,000 times. I've logged it 100 times. I can control myself. I can see this through, right? I'll never forget, guys. I logged every trade for so long, and I went through all my trades, right, and looked at all my trading data and realized I was getting out of trades too early 87% of the time. That means out of 100 trades, I got out before my exit, right? This costed me so much money, right? And then conviction. Conviction's the faith and certainty that comes from trusting your edge and trading strategies and their abilities to bring you long-term longevity, right? Once again, conviction comes through extensive journaling, right? It's right next to confidence. You need to trust your process. Your process makes profits, right? So next, faith and uncertainty. What is faith? So faith is an emotion that you experience when your mind is cleared off all negativity. Faith cannot be present next to fear. Once again, where there's faith, there's no fear. It's a state of mind that enables you to access higher levels of thought, right? So complete trust and confidence in your ability to adhere to your trading method properly, resulting in your desired outcome, built from extensive journaling, right? This is a product of repetition and visualization, right? So human beings, traders, for us to develop faith, we need to slowly see it work. For you to slowly see it work, you need to dive deep into your journal. You need to dive deep into yourself, right? You need to put in the work, though. A lot of traders don't want to journal, right? Why? Well, they don't want to take that accountability. Well, without that journaling, they're never going to develop faith. And without faith, they're never going to trade properly and use that knowledge that they have. Right. So what is a belief? Our beliefs influence the level of potential we see in any situation. Right? Once our beliefs align with our desired outcome, we're able to achieve consistency as a trader. This is why we must build such strong confidence, control, conviction in our ability to identify our edge and act on it flawlessly with statistical reliability, right? We do this through T metrics journaling, right? Our beliefs guide our perception of market information. And once we truly believe in the power of our edge in a series of trades perspective, we will begin to achieve consciousness it takes to achieve long-term consistency as a trader. Right? And I'm going to finish this off with beliefs turn to thoughts. Thoughts turn into actions. Actions turn into habitual behaviors, habits, and habits create your destiny. This is the cause and effect, right? We're going to finish this off with fear knocked at the door, faith answered, no one was there. Right? So listen, don't be ashamed of this, guys. We all go through this as traders, right? You must change your beliefs about yourself, the market, and success. I'll see you on the top.